Welcome. Thank you for joining me for this power yoga practice. My name is Tamara Maxim. You can find some playlists to accompany this yoga practice or any time that you like to listen to music through Spotify if you use that, and you can find my playlist under Tamara YVR. YVR is the area code for Vancouver, and I live in the greater Vancouver area in Burnaby. And before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that I am on the traditional and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Coast Salish, and Tsleil-Waututh people, and I invite you to acknowledge and honor the land that you are on at this moment. If you'd like to find out more about my yoga offerings, you can look on my website, tamaramaxim.com, and I have plenty of playlists there with different styles of yoga and offerings, teachings, meditations for adults and for kids, so please enjoy them at your own leisure. In this practice, we will focus on the third Yoga Sutra, which instructs us to dwell in our own true nature. So let's begin by finding a tall seat. And you can sit in this Veerabhadrasana variation like I'm sitting, or you can sit cross-legged. Take a few deep cleansing breaths to begin, to arrive in this moment. So the first Yoga Sutra instructs us that yoga begins now, in this present moment. And the second Yoga Sutra instructs us that yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. And this Yoga Sutra, the third sutra, teaches us that in the stillness of the mind, when we arrive in this moment and find that stillness, that's when we can dwell in our own true nature. So close your eyes if it feels comfortable for you, or take a soft gaze down and find your connection to your own true nature. Dwell within the light of your own spirit, your own heart. If you like, you can bring your hands to Padma Mudra, which is touching the pinky finger and the outer edge of your hand together, your thumbs touching and the outer edge of your thumbs touching, and then opening up the rest of your palms like the petals of a lotus and holding it at your heart center. And this lotus seal, Padma Mudra, is a symbol of your consciousness and self-awareness. Here you would maybe create an intention or a dedication for your practice, maybe asking for stillness, this opportunity to reflect. You might like to see yourself as a still mountain in this moment. Your mind or consciousness is that mountain. And surrounding that mountain is a lake. And when the lake is still, you can see the clear reflection of the mountain. You, the mountain, and your consciousness, the lake. When your mind is still, you can see your reflection clearly. You can dwell in your true essence. When the lake is still, you can see the clear reflection of the mountain. The work we do on our yoga mat allows our minds to become quiet, more aware. We can shift from doing to simply being. Sutra 1.3 reminds us to be with ourselves in our truest form, in that clear reflection in the lake. If you like, you can repeat the mantra with me, and then I will chant it a couple of times, and then we will open our practice with one sound of Om. Repeat after me if you like. Tadā, tadā. Draṣṭuḥ, draṣṭuḥ. Svarūpe'vasthānam, vashtanam. And when we chant the sutra, it invokes clarity and recognition of the true self, the sva in svarūpe. If you like, you can listen or chant along, starting with Om and ending with Om. Tadā, draṣṭuḥ, svarūpe'vasthānam, tadā, draṣṭuḥ, svarūpe'vasthānam. Closing with Om. May you find stillness in this practice and an opportunity to dwell within your own true essence. And we'll begin in one of the most iconic postures representing stillness, which is Shavasana. So make your way down onto your back. Lay yourself down comfortably. Let your toes fall open to the side, palms facing up beside your body. Eyes closed, softening inward. Start to become more aware of your breath, the prana, the life force. When your breath in, let the breath travel up your spine, over the front line of the body. And as you exhale, let the breath travel down the spine, over the back line of the body. Start to find that cyclical breath. Pranavayu as you breathe in. Apanavayu as you breathe out. Staying connected to your intention, maybe your dedication, and finding that clarity, that reflection in the still water, to see yourself, to be with yourself. This practice of being. One more inhale, up the spine. One more exhale, down the spine. And then slowly hugging your knees into your chest, Upavishta. Squeeze your knees into your chest, maybe even forehead toward your knees. Squeeze in. And then relax your head down onto the mat. Lower your left foot to the floor. Cross your flexed right ankle over your left thigh. Supta Matsyendrasana, or Supta Kapotasana, supine pigeon. And let's press the right knee away. And keeping the right foot flexed, draw your left knee in toward your chest. You can hold in front of the shin bone or behind the thigh with your hands interlaced. And maybe pull the left knee a little bit more to the left as you inhale. And as you exhale, push your right knee away. Get a nice stretch into the outside of your right hip. Keeping your ankle flexed, foot engaged. Another inhale breath, the left knee comes in toward the left shoulder, maybe a little bit more to the left. Exhale, right knee pushes away. And then releasing just your left foot to the floor, half happy baby. Take your right hand on the outside of your right foot. Elbow is on the inside of the right calf and pulling the right knee down to the right. And you're welcome to keep this left foot on the floor with your knee bent or start to extend your left leg straight and use your hand on your thigh to knead the back of the thigh down. Flexing out through both feet, keeping your ankles flexed and your feet engaged. And you're welcome to stay here. Maybe even pull your right knee all the way down to the mat, even to the outside of your left foot might float. Just let it hang there, getting a nice stretch for the hip flexor. You can even massage into it if you like. If you want to go one step further, take your right hand on the back but the inside edge of your right heel and pull your right leg to straight. Now be careful, we haven't really done any stretching yet, but getting that nice extension through the right leg. And you might bend your left knee to get a little deeper, a little longer. Maybe you can pull your right toes all the way down. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat. Maybe you can keep your left leg extended. And then come all the way back in, hug your knees to your chest. And this time lowering your right foot to the floor. Cross your flexed left ankle and active foot over your right thigh. Push your left knee away to get a stretch in the outer left hip. You're welcome to stay here, or pulling your right knee in toward your chest and a little bit more out to the right, keeping your foot active. As you pull the knee to the right and in toward the chest, push your left knee away and keep your feet engaged, ankles flexed. Use your breath. Stay connected to the breath to keep you present. The inhale may be pulling a little bit more to the right, in toward the chest. The exhale, left knee pushes away. There's an active practice coming, so enjoying these moments of stillness, of reflection. Much easier to keep the mind calm when the body is calm. Can we do the same thing when the body is active? One more round of breath. Right knee moves to the right, maybe in toward the shoulder. Exhale, left knee pushes away. And then putting your right foot down on the mat, half happy baby. Taking your left hand on the outside of your left foot, elbow on the inside, and pulling your left knee down to the left, maybe even up to the outer edge of your mat. You're welcome to stay here. Maybe you extend your right leg to straight and use your hand to knead the thigh down so the back of your leg starts to press down into the mat. Both feet are active. If it's too much for you, keep the knee bent. And after a couple of breaths here, you might want to even draw the left knee all the way down. The right foot might float up, but you get that nice lengthening through the hip flexor. And a good massage in there might be nice. You're welcome to stay just as you are, or with the right knee bent, or maybe taking your left hand on the back and inside of the left heel and starting to extend that left leg back into the left, keeping your foot active, ankle flexed. Your right knee can stay bent, or you can extend the leg, trying to keep both shoulders on the mat. Beautiful. Bringing it all back through center. Hug your knees into your chest. And from here, you might want to take a full happy baby, or you can take the knees wide and hold on to the outer edges of your feet and take a floating butterfly position, or extending your legs out, supine Upavishta Konasana, and press to the inner edges of your ankles and flex the feet, so toes curling down toward the earth. Pushing your tailbone down and trying to spread the legs apart. It is, of course, early in the practice, but maybe you can find a little bit of opening here. And then hugging knees back in toward your chest. Start to rock forward and back, aligning yourself on your mat if you've moved around. And we'll make our way to tabletop. So as you come forward and back, getting a little bit of core work here, maybe the toes floating as you come up, rolling back with control a few times. Inhale to roll back. Exhale to come up and hold. One more time. And then crossing over the ankles, hands come down, and stepping the knees back underneath your hips, palms underneath your shoulders, toes are tucked. Take a few rounds of Bakasana, cat and cow, spreading the fingertips wide apart, but pressing down into the finger pads to get a little bit more buoyancy in the palms. And on your inhale breath, the tailbone comes up, tummy down, chest up. Try to lengthen through the front line of the body. As you exhale, untuck the toes round the spine, and you can stay here or pull back until you're tenting up on your fingertips, rounding a lot, looking to the belly. Keep moving with your breath in a way that feels opening for you. It might be nice to take the fingertips and turn them back toward the knees. That helps to stretch out the forearms and the wrist creases, creating more space around our joints. And we'll use our hands a lot today. It helps to soothe any tension that you might have there when we go into hand balancing. One more full round of breath here. Stay for your last exhale. And then come back to center. Walk your hands a little bit more forward than where they are now. If you need to, give your wrists a little shake. Tuck your toes, press down into your palms and float the knees just to hover. And as you hug your wrist creases toward your kneecaps, feel the engagement of Mula Bandha, the root lock, Uddiyana Bandha, the mid-abdominal lock. Keeping your gaze slightly forward to lengthen the spine. Start to bring in that Ujjayi breath if it's not there already, a slight constriction of the throat, creating that ocean-like sound. The breath so important in our practice. Let your breath be the gauge of stillness in the body. If the breath is choppy or constricted, then tone down the practice. Let the breath be the guide. One more inhale here, and then as you exhale, start to lift the hips as you straighten the legs. On the exhale breath, press the heels toward the mat, and the first few times you might want to pedal out the heels a few times before you settle into the posture, or maybe bend both knees and pull the hips away from hands, lengthening the neck by looking toward the inner thighs or toward the belly, Nabhi-drishti. Thumb and index finger are a little bit more weighted as you draw the eye of the elbows more forward. Coming into your full expression of downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your inhale breath, lift your right leg up to the sky, press out through your heel. See if you can open up the hip with a straight leg. And then from here, bend your knee and let your foot drop behind you and try to square your shoulders, but look underneath your left arm for your toes. And then inhale your right leg back up to the air, press it out, and then lower the right foot down. Other side, inhale your left leg up to the sky, press out through your heel. Try to stack your hips, but keep the legs straight. Square your shoulders and then bend the knee as you drop your foot to the right. With the shoulders square, look underneath your right arm, see if you can find your foot. Inhale back through center. Extend the leg and then lower it down. Come high on your toes, bend your knees a lot, look forward. Walk, step, or lightly hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Palms can come to the shins for the first one if you like, or fingers in front of the toes. Feet can even be hip distance. Take one more breath. As you look forward, inhale. Exhale, fold over your thighs, forehead toward the shins. Inhale again, Ardha Uttanasana. Realign your spine. Exhale to release. And now inhale to stand up. Come all the way up. Curl the tailbone under, arch back, look up. And then hands to heart center. Samastitihi, and arms down by your side. Inhale, reach up. Fold forward. Exhale. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, plant your palms. Try to line up your thumbs with your big toes and either walk or step back. Plank pose, chaturanga, or all the way to your belly. Untuck your toes, either cobra or lift the thighs, arms straighten, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Roll over your toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take an inhale breath here. Stay for your exhale. One more, Ujjayi breath in. Ujjayi breath out. Come high on your toes, bend your knees, look forward, walk, step or hop. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana, arch back if you like. And hands to heart center. Now pairing one breath per movement. Inhale. Exhale. Finding that stillness. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, chaturanga. Or the belly. Inhale for your back bend. Exhale, downward dog. 2 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And coming high in your toes, bend your knees, walk, step, or hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva stay standing. Hands to your heart center and down by your side. Now bringing your big toes together to touch. On your inhale breath, sit your hips low. Try to sweep your fingertips down along the mat. And once you get there, curl your tailbone under. Start to lift your chest and lift your arms. Udkatasana. Couple of breaths here to stay focused. And now we start to bring in a little challenge into the practice, a little bit more effort. A tapas is required. Can you find that stillness? Can you connect with sva, your own true essence? Take one more inhale breath. Let the water stay still to find your reflection. Sit a little deeper on your exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, lift your hips and fold. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, plant your palms, chaturanga dandasana. Traveling there any way you like or right to the belly. Inhale, bhujangasana or urdhva mukha svanasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, lift the hips, pull back, downward facing dog. Always using your knees if you need, also taking these opportunities rather than vinyasas for child pose, any kind of rest that you need. Inhale, right leg lifts to the sky. As you exhale, bring your right knee in toward your chest and keep coming forward. Step your right foot through. Back heel spins down as you rise up. Veerabhadrasana 1. Pull your right hip back. Reach up through your fingertips. Take one more inhale. Square the hips forward. And as you exhale, plant your hands down, step back and lower. You can keep your leg floating. Inhale for your back bend. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Complete breath out. Inhale, left leg lift to the sky. Exhale, slow motion. Bring that knee forward. Step through inside your left thumb. Right heel spins down as you rise. Veerabhadrasana 1. Sink into your left hip. Square your hips to the front of the mat. One more breath in. And as you exhale, make your way through the flow or right to downward dog. Staying connected to the breath. Exhale all the way back. 2 breaths here, drawing the eye of the elbows forward, finding your draṣṭuḥ, your gaze, stilling the mind. And let yourself be reflected in the stillness of the leg, the stillness of the mind. And come high in your toes. Bend your knees a lot. Look forward. Walk, step, or hop. Feet together. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale to fold. And keeping the knees bent, seat low. Inhale. Udkatasana, chair pose. One more inhale here. Stay for your exhale. And then stand up tall. Arch back. Hands to heart center. And down by your side. Udkatasana, chair pose. Inhale. This time exhale. Hips lift and fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. As you exhale, flatten your palms. Try to get your thumbs in line with your big toes. Walk, step, or hop back. Chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend. Exhale, downward dog. From here, we'll add on. Inhale, right leg lifts to the sky. As you exhale, right knee to right upper arm. Pause and hold. Inhale, sweep it back up. Exhale, right knee to left upper arm. Pause and hold. Inhale, sweep it back up. Exhale, knee to chest. Stepping through again, warrior 1, rise up. Square your hips, pull your outer right hip back, feet hip distance apart. Take an inhale breath to reach up. Exhale, hands behind the lower back, interlace your palms, close your hands right to the heel of your hands. Lift your chest, breathe in. Exhale, bow forward. Crown of the head down. Hands lift up. Maybe you rest your shoulder on your thigh. Maybe the head comes all the way down. You can step your feet wider if you need.
Pull your outer right hip back, right knee in toward the right shoulder. One more breath. See if you can lift your hands up higher. Exhale over the head. Inhale, arms lift you back up. You reach for the sky. Exhale, palms down. Flow, downward dog, or a rest. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Left knee, left upper arm. Pause and hold. Inhale, sweep it back up. Exhale, right upper arm. Pause and hold. Inhale, sweep it back up. Exhale, knee to chest. Keep coming forward. Stepping forward, back heel down. Rise up, Veerabhadrasana 1 again. Pull your outer left hip back, right thigh forward, bend into your left knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, interlace your hands opposite. Interlace. Close your hands right to the top of your wrist creases. Interlace tight to the webbing. Inhale, lengthen, chest lifts, knuckles down. Exhale, bow in. Shoulder can rest on the thigh, chin toward the chest. Pressing shoulder in toward the knee, knee to shoulder. Maybe the crown of the head comes all the way down. Pull your outer left hip back. Try to press the outer edge of your right foot down. Another inhale breath, hands lift up higher. Exhale, hands over the back. Inhale, rise back up. Reach your arms to the sky. Full breath in. Making your way back to downward dog, maybe vinyasa, or maybe a rest. So using your breath to monitor your stillness. Take a full deep breath in here. Stay for your exhale. And come behind your toes. Bend your knees a lot. Look forward. Walk, step, or hop. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And chair pose again. Inhale, stand up. This time, hands come to heart center. Take a breath in. Exhale, twist to your right, taking your left elbow outside your right knee, tenting your fingertips here. Press your finger pads together, kind of the reverse of Padma Mudra. Closing those finger pads, press the top pads into the bottom pads, sink a little deeper, pulling your left hip and left knee back to align. Stay here, maybe open your wings for one breath. Left hand down, right arm up. Maybe even taking a bind of that right hand behind the back. On your inhale, unwind and lift your hips and fold. Back to chair pose we go. Other side. Inhale, arms up. Hands float to the heart. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left. Finger pads touching, palms separated. Pulling your right knee and right hip back to align them. Sink the hips deeper. And use the press of your top palm into your bottom palm, or finger pads to finger pads, to twist a little deeper, maybe even looking up. You can stay here. You can open your wings. Maybe you bind that left hand to the top of your right thigh. Sit deeper. And then as you inhale, unwind. Lift your hips. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Urdhva hands to heart center. Samastitihi, and down by your side. Let's keep moving. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, lengthen. As you exhale, plant your palms. Try to get your thumb and big toes in the same line, so your shoulders are a little bit more forward. Walk, step, or hop back, chaturanga, or to the belly. Back bend, inhale. Exhale, downward dog. This time as you inhale your right leg up to the sky, press your heel away from you. Try to stack your hip. Really extend that leg. Open up the hips. Shoulders square. And then as you exhale, bring your right knee to your right upper arm. Feel free to stay here. If you want to float it out, Kundanyasana, you can. Finding stillness in the pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, right knee to left upper arm. Feel free to stay. If you want to go for fallen triangle, you can. Reaching your left arm up, or maybe Kundanyasana, or maybe you even hold the foot or float the foot into this variation of Uttarasamukha. And then when you're ready, sweep your right leg all the way back and up. Exhale, bring your knee in toward your chest, but keep coming forward. Step lightly through to the center. Spin your back heel down, front heel to back arch alignment, and then rise up. Warrior Two. And finding your center here in Warrior Two. Couple of deep breaths. Bend your front knee more so it's right over top of the ankle. Left fingertips in line with your left shoulder. Right fingertips in line with your right shoulder, and your gaze over the front middle finger. Arms open. Take one more inhale breath here, Ujjayi. Exhale, deepen. Hold the posture. Inhale, front palm lifts up. Flip it up. Exhale, pull it back. Feel free to stay. Maybe you hold your head with your hand. Maybe you bind your left hand behind the back. Maybe both hands connect behind the heart. Deepen into your front knee. Lift your chest. Find that reflection of the mountain in the lake. Inhale, come back through center. Straighten your front leg. Heel toe your front foot in. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, find Trikonasana, triangle pose. You can use your right hand to press into the leg to help you lengthen, maybe onto the shin if you need, or maybe to the outside, or maybe you can find big toe lock, but not sacrificing the alignment of the posture. So still maintaining that stillness, a crystal clear reflection. Take one more full round of breath. And then on your inhale breath, take your left hand to your left hip, soften into your right knee. Maybe use a right hand under, a block under your right hand. Lift your left leg up, finding Ardha Chandrasana. Press out through your left heel, just as we did at the beginning. Press your heel away from you with that straight leg and try to stack your hip. From here you can stay. You might try lifting your left arm up, but only if you have stillness and balance in the posture, going to the next step. Maybe you find Shavasana, bending that top knee, reach for the outer edge of your foot. Kick your foot into your hand and open the hip up, like a three-legged dog. And then releasing the posture. Sometimes it goes a little bit too far. Find standing L-shaped pose. So soften your right knee until you can bring both hands to the mat. Pull your right thumb into your right hip crease to pull it back. Now you can stay right here. Maybe you have a block under your left hand. Take your right hand to your right hip, adding in a little bit of a twist here. Start to roll the right shoulder open. So revolved half moon pose. Pavrita Ardha Chandrasana. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Try to stay active through that back heel. One more inhale. Stay for your exhale. Maybe you look up. And then both hands down to the mat. Take a big step back with your left toes and rise up. Alanasana, high crescent lunge. And take a moment. Soften your back knee. Lift your chest more. Get your torso long and then straighten out that back leg. Take an inhale here to reach up. Back heel is lifted. As you exhale, twist to your right. Look over your right thumb. Pull your right hip back. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, twist. Now you're welcome to stay. Back knee can always lower. Hands to your heart. Start to lean forward, hooking your left elbow outside your right thigh. Stay here, pressing your top finger pads into your bottom finger pads. If you have a bind, you can go for it, or opening the wings. Try to concentrate on your breath, finding that stillness within. One more round. Back heel lifting, legs strong. On your inhale, lift yourself up off your legs. Reach your arms to the sky, hold the pose. Exhale, make your way back to downward dog or any variation that you like. Monitoring your breath. Looking for any ripples in that leg that are stirring your reflection and try to smooth them out with your breath. From downward facing dog, one more round. Exhale fully. Inhale, left leg lift to the sky. Left knee to left upper arm, stay. Maybe Kundanyasana if you haven't. Inhale, sweep your leg back up. Exhale to the right side. Fall in triangle if you want to. Lift your right arm up, extend your left leg, or maybe hook the foot or lift the leg. Veerabhadrasana variation. And then come all the way back up. Knee in toward the chest. Stepping lightly through to the center. Find the alignment, back heel, front heel, or front heel to back arch. And then rise up, finding your Veerabhadrasana 2. Bend the front knee generously so you have the capacity to get the left thigh parallel to the floor, if not today, one day. Reaching out through your fingertips and check that your right fingers are in line with your right shoulder, left fingers in line with left. Deepen into the front knee. Keep the torso in the center so you're not leaning forward or leaning back. Finding that symmetry, that stillness. Gazing down the front middle finger for one more inhale. Stay for your exhale. Flipping your left palm up on your inhale breath, pull it back. Exhale. Finding that extension. Viparita Veerabhadrasana. Turn your chin up, maybe find a bind of your head. Maybe right hand travels to the left hip, or maybe both hands reach behind the heart. Wherever you decide to be, use that breath as a guide. See your own reflection. Clear, crystal clear. And coming back through center. Inhale your front leg to straight. Heel toe your back foot in. Your inhale breath, reach forward. Exhale, pivot the arms. Fingertips inside or outside, maybe to the shin if you need, or big toe lock if you can get it, but pulling the chest up. So not sacrificing the alignment to get deeper in the pose. And when you look at your reflection, it will be crooked. So you want a smooth reflection. True self. Steadying your breath, even breath. Your next inhale, look down. Right hand to right hip, soften that left knee, maybe a block under your left hand. As you step forward, Udkatasana. As we did in the beginning, press your right heel away. Try to extend the legs as you stack the hip. And when you find stillness, maybe you move to the next level. Right arm reaches up. Maybe you can even gaze up. Maybe you're practicing floating the palm or Udkatasana variation. Bending the knee and reaching for the outer edge of your foot. Inner left foot pressing down as you kick the right toes back and up. Slowly making your way to standing L. So soften your left knee a lot so you can make the transition as smooth as possible. Left thumb into your left hip crease. Pull it back so the right thigh levels down. Keeping your right fingertips underneath your right shoulder, maybe to a block. Left hand to left hip. Start to revolve. Pavrita Ardha Chandrasana. Keep that right foot really active. Press it away from you. And maybe your left arm reaches up as you look up. And both hands come down to the mat. Soften your left knee. Step all the way back. Keep both knees soft as you rise up, Alanasana. And with that right knee soft, try to straighten out your torso, lift it up as high as you can, and then straighten out the back leg, lifting the heel high over the toes and pull your left hip back. Take an inhale breath here, and as you exhale, you'll twist to the left. Look to your left thumb. Inhale, rise back to center, challenging to hold on to it. Exhale, twist. One more, inhale. Exhale, twist. Good, rise back up, inhale. Exhale, twist, this time we'll hold. Missed a little step there. Hinge forward over your right thigh if you like. Tense your fingertips. You can always lower your back knee. Press your top fingers into your bottom fingers. Lift your chest. Pull your left hip back. If you like, you can open the wings or take a bind. Try not to relax your body onto your thigh. Lift up and away from the thigh. On your inhale, use the strength to rise back up. Here we go. Exhale, hands down, making your way back to downward dog through vinyasa or rest first. And from downward facing dog, take a big breath in as you reach your right leg up to the sky. Stack your hip, bend your knee. Let your foot start to drop behind you. And if you like, turn your left fingertips out. Slowly deweight your right palm. Find wild thing, lifting your chest. And then come all the way back up through center. Lift your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, bring your knee in toward your chest and keep coming forward. And step your right foot through to center. Back heel spins down. Rise up. Veerabhadrasana 2. On your inhale breath, straighten your front leg. Palms reach up. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, palms reach up. Exhale, come back down. One more time, opening the hips. Exhale. Straighten your front leg, a little shorter stance again for a second set of Trikonasana. Inhale, reach forward. Pivot the arms. Again, find big toe lock if you have it, or that position for your palm that's best for you. And now start to take your top arm over your ear. Tita Trikonasana. You can stay here getting this side stretch, or spiral your left hand behind. See if you can wrap your fingers around the top of your right thigh. And then unwind yourself. Bring both hands to the mat as you soften your right knee. Step your left foot a little bit forward and out to the left. Parita Trikonasana. Keeping your left hand under your shoulder, maybe to a block, maybe more to the inside of your right foot, but pull your right hip back, or maybe to the outside of your right foot. And then spiraling your chest open, maybe hand to hip, or reaching your right fingertips up. Keep pulling your right hip back toward your left heel. On your inhale breath, come forward again, back to that standing L-shaped pose. And start to walk your hands toward your standing leg, wrapping your right hand behind your right calf muscle, standing splits. Those of you that want to practice some handstand hops, you can. Keep pulling your right hip back and up. Left thigh forward, press out through your heel. And then release your hands underneath your shoulders. Soften both knees to bring your inner knees to touch. Left foot is floating as you rise up. Bringing your knee with you into your chest. Tita, Hasta, Padang, Gustasana. We've been making this shape throughout the class already. You can stay here. You can hold your knee as it is, or hold behind your knee, or if you have Padang Gustasana, holding your big toe and stand tall. And then from here to any degree, extending your leg straight out in front of you. Pressing out through the heel, maybe reaching your right arm up. Holding here, pulling your left hip back. Keeping your chest forward, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, open your leg to the left, arm to the right, or hand to your hip. And as the heel is lifting higher, the hip is pulling down. Try to level your hips. Maybe you look over your right shoulder. So keeping that stillness, that still lake, that reflection of the mountain. Can you challenge yourself to look to the right? Slowly come back through center. Keep your leg lifted. Point your toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now hinge at the hips, finding Veerabhadrasana 3, warrior 3. Pressing your heel back, reaching your arms forward, taking your gaze forward for 3, 2, 1. And now soften your right knee, slowly step back. Find, again, Alanasana, high crescent lunge. Take a breath in here. Pull your right hip back, left heel forward. Soften your knee if you need. Get vertical. One more inhale. Stay for your exhale. Now keeping the feet where they are on your inhale, soften your left knee just to hover. Exhale, bring it back up. Inhale, just to hover. Find that stillness in the challenge. Bring it back up. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, bring it back up. This time, super slow motion. Inhale, all the way down. Tuck your toes, slide your left knee back. Stay here for your exhale. Finding Untitled, palms can touch. Maybe look up. Pull your right hip back, left thigh forward. Take a breath in. Maybe a little arch back. 2 more rounds of breath. Breathe in and out through your nose. And back through center. Inhale. Try to float your palms if you can. It takes a lot of control. Exhale, palms sweep back behind you. Press your right heel forward, floating your chest over your thighs. Arms reach back like a bird. Inhale, rise up. Konasana, a little back bend if you like. Exhale, sweep the palms back, heel forward, floating Ardha Hanumanasana. One more time. Inhale, rise up. Arch back, go slow. Exhale, pull it back. And now inhale, rise back up, Konasana. This time hands come to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe your right foot out to the right for a variation of lizard pose, Udkatasana. Make sure your left knee is as far back as you can get it. Feel free to pat it up if you need. Tent up onto your fingertips and pull your chest forward. A couple of variations here. If you'd like to try to go lower, you can walk your fingertips forward and come down onto your forearms. And for this variation, for now, keep your toes pointing forward, pulling your outer right hip back and down, but chest forward and down, hips forward and down, chest forward and up. And you're welcome to stay. If you want to lift that back knee, you can for a little bit more heat. And then finally, an option to bind. So coming back up onto your fingers, can you take your right hand underneath your right foot and out to the side and bending the elbows. From here, if you want to come into a bind or Kundanyasana, you can. Try to keep the hips low, looking forward. Bind would look like right hand behind, left hand touching. Kundanyasana, leg comes out to the side, balancing on the hands. One more round of breath wherever you are. And walking your hands back underneath your shoulders. Now turn your right toes out to the right and try to wiggle them a little bit more forward. Come up onto your fingertips and start to pull your right hip back. So finding a variation of Ardha Hanumanasana with the leg out to the side. So combining a little bit of lizard, a little bit of Hanuman together. And you can stay here or you can walk your right heel out to the right, pressing the left thigh down, coming in to a deeper variation, maybe coming to your forearms or even your chest. Try to roll the outer right hip back and down if you can. And
It helps if you smile. And in these moments where the poses can seem challenging, it's the best opportunity to find this connection back to stillness. Can you see your own true essence in these postures? Give a little essence of yourself in every posture. One more breath. And walking your hands back underneath your shoulders, pull yourself back up into a lunge. It can be tricky, so take your time. Lifting your back knee, palms flat. Inhale, right leg sweeps back and up. Feel free to stay here or flip it over if you like. And then take a vinyasa. We'll meet back in downward dog. From downward facing dog, inhale your left leg up to the sky, stack your hip, bend your knee. Opportunity to flip over for the first time on this side. Turn your right fingertips out. De-weight your left palm, super slow motion as you lift the palm. The same time, left toes go down, left heel lifts. Outer edge of your right foot pressing down. Give yourself a little smile, reach back, open your heart. Inhale, come back to center, lift your leg up back behind you. And start to bring your foot forward between your palms. Veerabhadrasana 2 again, rise up. Finding that even stance. On your inhale breath, straighten your front leg, palms reach up. Look up. Exhale, back down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Slow with the breath. Exhale. Keeping your arms extended. Inhale your front leg to straight. Heel toe your back foot in again for Trikonasana with some variations this time. Inhale, pivot the arms. Maybe you find big toe lock or your variation. Maybe you can look up and finding that stillness. So even one little ripple in the water. Can you smooth it out with your breath? Stay here or taking your top arm over your ear. Tita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. And staying here or taking your right hand behind your lower back, keeping your chest rolling open, finding that bind to the top of your left thigh. If it's too much for your neck, it feels good to look down as well. So to unwind your triangle, both hands to the mat, soften your front knee as you step your right foot a little bit forward and to the right. You can use your left hand and your left hip crease to pull the hip back. Parvrita Trikonasana, so walking your hands either right hand under your shoulder or closer to your left foot, or maybe to the outside of your left foot to a block even. Left hand on your left hip to pull it back as you start to revolve open. So getting into these twists here to release anything that's causing those ripples in the pond, in the lake. We want stillness, equanimity. One more breath. And softening your left knee, bring both hands to the mat, back to standing L-shaped pose. Hands under shoulders, lifting your right leg up this time. You can square your left hip back, right thigh rolls down, active through your standing foot, or maybe starting to walk your hands closer to your left leg, wrapping your left hand behind your left calf, forehead to shin, right leg lifts high, standing splits. Veerabhadrasana, Padasana. Feel free to do some handstand hops if that's in your practice. Being careful, maybe using a wall. Pressing up through that heel and away from you. One more breath. Slowly soften both knees, keeping your right leg floating. Bring your knees together to touch and stand up slowly. Keep your balance, keep your focus. It's okay if you touch down, all part of the practice. Tita, Hasta, Padang, Gustasana. So standing tall,
holding your knee in front of your shin, behind your thigh, or Padang Gustasana grip. You can straighten out your leg the best you can. Reach your left arm up if you like, or hand can stay on your hip. Pull your hip back, pull your shoulder back. Find your steady gaze, your draṣṭuḥ. Looking at your own true essence. And then opening it up. As the right heel lifts, pull the right hip back and down, shoulder back and down. And once you're steady, if you like, challenge yourself maybe to look over your left shoulder. Find that inner smile. Let this lift your heart. And inhale back through center. Release your foot. Point your toes for 5, 4, lift your leg, 3, lean forward, 2, 1, Veerabhadrasana, 3, swing your leg back. Reach your fingertips forward. Try to hold here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Soften the left knee, step back. Find high crescent lunge. Soften your right knee to start with. Get vertical. Set up your posture. When you're ready, straighten that back leg. Pulling your left hip back, right thigh forward. You can inhale here. Stay for your exhale. Now some lunges. Inhale your right knee down to hover. Exhale, pull it back up. Inhale to hover. Exhale, back up. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Now super slow. Inhale. All the way down. Keep your toes tucked to slide your right knee further back as you sink into your hips. Finding Kundanyasana. Feel free to stay here. Maybe an arch back. Sinking the hips forward and down. And finding your steady balance. Inhale back through center. As you exhale, fingertips sweep back. Heel presses forward as you straighten your left leg. Float over your thigh. Floating Ardha Hanuman. Concentration and focus. Inhale. As if you could make this movement without any ripples in the pond, the lake. Exhale, the mind is still. Focusing on the breath. One more time. Inhale. Arch back if you like. Exhale. Coming back up, take a couple of breaths. Kundanyasana. Back through center, breathe in. Exhale, hands come down on the inside of your left foot. Slide your right knee further back and line up the outer edge of your left foot with the long edge of your mat, finding this variation of lizard pose. You can stay on flat palms. You're welcome to take your fingertips forward, maybe tent them up to get more length. So you want the hips pressing forward and down and the chest pressing forward and up to get some length. Maybe you come down onto your forearms, hugging the left knee toward your left shoulder. Maybe you want to lift your right knee up. I didn't say this on the other side, but rocking back and forth is really nice too, so you can try that. And if you want to come for a bind, which I recommend you try, lift yourself back up onto your palms. Take your right hand or left hand underneath your left leg out to the side. And you can stay here in this kind of wide arm stance and sinking into the hips. Or maybe you take your left hand behind for a bind. Right arm connects. Maybe you can wrap your right wrist with your left palm and keep the hips low as you look forward. And you can be down as well. Wherever you are, 2 more deep breaths. When you're ready, coming back up onto your palms, turn your left toes out to the left.
Maybe start to walk your foot a little bit more out to the left corner. Take an inhale breath, tent up onto your fingertips or flat palms, and then pull your left hip back. So now coming into a deeper variation of Hanuman with this leg extended out. Maybe you extend your left heel all the way forward. Maybe you stay up on your fingertips, or maybe you come down. Wherever you are, again, try to picture yourself as that mountain and the lake, your consciousness, your mind. As you breathe, there's no ripples in the lake. You only see your own true reflection, your own essence. You really become one. You can't see where the mountain ends and the water begins. That is the idea of the sutra. Tadā, draṣṭuḥ, svarūpe'vasthānam. In the stillness, that you can abide in your own true essence. One more round of breath. Slowly start to walk yourself back up, making your way slowly back into the lunge. Palms under shoulders. Back knee lifts. When you're ready, three-legged dog. Second chance to flip over here to different variations. Right fingertips turn out. Flip it over. Then making your way back through vinyasa, all the way back to downward dog. In a transition here to turn to the right, lift your left leg up to the sky, bring your left foot through, and then walk your hands over to the right side of your mat, little animal walk to the right. Turn your toes to the corners of your mat, making a wide V shape with your toes. Coming into Skandasana, starting on the right side, bend your right knee, get as low as you can. Maybe your right heel stays down. Maybe your left heel presses out. And you might be higher up. For some people, they need to stay upright. It's okay. Come down as low as you can. We'll start to move side to side, so you can use your hands on the floor for support or palms to your heart, even tenting the fingertips. If you want to challenge yourself, create Padma Mudra. Keeping your hips low. Inhale. Bend into your left knee. Maybe your left foot flattens. Right heel presses out. Use your elbow on the inside of your knee. And use the breath to move. Inhale through center. Go slow. Exhale to the right. Inhale. Go as slow as your breath, so making no ripples in the water. Ripples, if they are there, are almost undetectable. It's a smoothness, clarity. One more time each side. And coming back to the right side. Add in a little twist. You can take your right fingertips out to the right and use your right shoulder to press the inner knee. Left hand comes to left hip and you can stay. Maybe you reach your left arm back. Maybe you find that bind, left hand traveling to the right thigh. Maybe you can bring your right hand behind your outer right thigh and wrap your left wrist or fingertips meet. And then from here, hug your heels together. Make that connection between the heels to help lift from Mula Bandha all the way up, and you can get a rotation more in the outer left shoulder, maybe even turning the gaze up. It also feels good to look down, so find what works for you. Another couple of breaths. Good. Release. Come back to Padma Mudra or hands to the mat. Shift to the other side. Come down slow. Set yourself up, maybe for the twist. Left fingertips out. Right arm up. Maybe find that bind, right hand behind the back to open the shoulder. Maybe left hand comes behind the left thigh. Maybe you can find your fingers or wrap your right wrist with your left fingers. And now actively hugging the heels toward each other. You'll feel that connection to Mula Bandha. You can lift up and away from that place. Roll your right shoulder open more, maybe even looking up. Maybe you look down. Maybe it feels good to look down. And then we'll release. Come back, this time to center. Come all the way back to center. Lift your chest. Inhale here, exhale to fold. Prasarita-padottanasana. Walk your hands between your feet, bend your elbows back, and try to pull the crown of your head down to the floor between your feet. More weight into the toes. If you prefer a different variation, you're welcome to take that. We'll have a second set here on the other side, so feel free to stay here, or if you like Shavasana B, you're welcome to take that safely if it's in your practice. A little bit more weight into the toes, and this is really easy for you. Try to walk your feet closer together. Take one more round of breath. After your exhale, pull yourself back to the halfway position. An animal walk to the front of your mat. You can step back to downward dog or take a vinyasa. We'll be back in downward dog. Your next breath in, lift your right leg up to the sky. Step your right foot through an animal walk to the left side of your mat. I'll turn to the opposite side just so you can see me. And from here, Prasarita-padottanasana again. This time take your right hand underneath your face. Left hand to your left hip. Start to revolve and turn open. From here again, you can reach your left arm up or find that bind. Open the shoulder. You can stay here, or I recommend try bending your right knee. Bring your right arm underneath. Try to capture your fingers with one another, or maybe left wrist with right hand. And turn and look up. You can practice bending into the knee. You don't need to straighten the legs. And release, come to the other side. Left palm underneath your face, right hand to right hip. Turn and revolve. Reach up. Find a bind if you like. Your right hand coming behind to the top of your left thigh, or bend into your left knee. Try to find that bind. Left arm underneath, right arm behind. Maybe you fingers meet, or you wrap your right wrist. You can try straightening your leg or bend into it a few times. If you are straightening the leg, try to roll your right shoulder back as you look up. Inner thigh stretch, twists and inversion. Great posture. Bind. If you're ready, release. Come halfway. And again, opportunity to fold in. If you want to fold in, you can. You can take your legs wide for Konasana, or Shavasana B, pressing into the palms, elbows point back. Slowly starting to lift the legs up and over your head. Pointing your toes, squeeze your buttocks, squeeze your core. Try to relax your shoulders away from your ears. Concentrate on one point, smooth, clear water. If you're in Shavasana, try to come down slowly, keeping your feet active. Press out through your heels. Try to land them down before your toes. Halfway lift, lengthen. And you can animal walk to the front of your mat.
Step back to downward dog. Do a vinyasa. All the way back. And from here, bring your hands a little bit closer together. Look forward and either walk or step your feet to the outside of your hands, coming to Malasana. Coming into a Yogi Squat. It can be up higher if you need, so it can be up here in this kind of sumo wrestler style, or sit down, or even put a block underneath your seat if you like. With your palms together, spread your inner thighs apart and see if you can lift your chest toward your thumbs. So a couple of options coming up. We'll get into this posture twice. So from here you can stay. If crow pose is in your practice, Kakasana, or crane pose, Bakasana, you're welcome to go there and I'll do a little demo. So palms come down. Step your toes a little bit back behind you and come up high onto your toes, almost straightening the legs. And then press the knees just enough to tap to the upper arms. They're not really out wide, just forward and to meet the upper arms as your elbows bend back. Then you start to tip forward and look forward. And hug the belly in, so that connection to Mula Bandha. And from here, maybe you float one or both of your feet up off the mat. And you can try also to straighten your arms for crane pose. It requires pressing the shoulders more forward. Still working on that. Heels toward the bum, round the spine. Look forward. Try to hold on to it for 3, 2, and on 1, either you can step your toes down or move through a vinyasa by stepping or shooting back. When you're ready, back to downward dog. If you're in Malasana, you can release and take a vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. And look forward, hands together, hop to the outside of your hands again, back to Malasana. Now another option for crow pose or crane pose if you like, or today we'll work on a pose which I think is a beautiful expression of the self, Firefly Pose. And I always love Firefly because everywhere they go they carry their light with them and shine it for everyone to see. And that's kind of the idea of this sutra, is to let your light shine, to be pure and clear, nothing obstructing it. So let's try together. Come along as far as you can. If you have trouble getting your hands down in this posture, feel free to use some blocks and I'll show you where to use them. So come up into that kind of sumo wrestler squat and turn your toes forward. So you have a pretty wide stance. Your feet are almost to the outer edges of your mat. And if you need blocks, bring them right behind your feet. And then from here, get one shoulder underneath one leg, other shoulder underneath your other leg, and see if you can put your hands flat down behind your feet, almost like you're making handprints directly behind your feet. And if that's hard for you, get some blocks there and put your hands down. And see if you can sit back on the shelf of your elbows, and this might be enough for you. Maybe you stay right here. If you can go further, you start to lift your heels up and maybe try to touch your toes together, cross your feet, and squeeze your shoulders together and see if you can lengthen your arms. And then from here, stay, or from this position, extend one toe out to the side, other toe out to the side, or from your crossed position, maybe you can extend both legs straight, looking forward, and hold here. 5 deep breaths. If you have the ability to go back into crow pose, maybe headstand, and then a vinyasa, you go for it. Let your light shine, your true, clear light. And when you're ready, you can make your way back into crow pose if you like, maybe more naturally. Won't always look pretty. And a vinyasa, all the way back to downward facing dog. Let's take a moment of breath. Child pose if you need. And then from here, walk your feet toward the back of your mat. So your hands are more in the middle. So you have some space out in front of you to land your bum between your hands and your legs straight out on the mat. Take a breath in. Come high on your toes, bend your knees. Look forward and hop between your hands with your legs straight. See if you can float all the way down onto your bum. Take a moment to get there. A couple of breaths. From here, move the flesh around your seat from side to side. Sit up nice and tall. Dandasana. Honey is demonstrating the side version of Dandasana. Inhale, reach up. She's gone right to Shavasana. Take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, fold Paschimottanasana. Come forward for a halfway lift to begin. Get your heart lengthening forward, active legs, and then relax into it. And then lift your chest up and turn your body to the long edge of your mat. Sitting up nice and tall. From here, take your right hand onto the right shin or the inside of your right shin and take your left hand to your left hip and roll your chest open. You can stay here or reach your top arm over your ears. Beautiful side stretch in Upavishta Konasana, Hasta Upavishta Konasana. Come up through center, left hand to your left shin, maybe on the inside, right hand to your right hip, reach up and over. Hasta Upavishta Konasana. You can flex out through your heels, in that same stretch and shape as Titabhasana. Inhale back through center. This is very similar to Titabhasana as you sit up here. Even if you were to practice getting the hands down and straightening the legs, you can try it here if you like. Or fold forward, any amount. Upavishta Konasana. Maybe you get your belly down, maybe you're up high in your hands. Wherever it is, try to lengthen your chest forward and up. If you're all the way down, you can turn your gaze to one side for a couple of breaths. Other side for a couple of breaths. Bringing yourself all the way back up. Bringing your legs slowly back to the front of your mat. Coming down onto our back and give you an option to do poses or one pose that you like for a couple of minutes, an inversion like shoulder stand or plow or even headstand, a twist, a supine twist right to left, or a back bend, and then we'll end in Shavasana. So take your time to come down, choosing a posture that helps you to completely still the waters of the lake, the complete stillness of the mind. Maybe it's something simple like Viparita Karani. Maybe you go for shoulder stand, getting the pinkies touching, thumbs on your back, legs lifted. Or maybe your feet are over your head for plow pose. Maybe you can interlace your hands onto the mat behind you. You might be going for Shavasana, the headstand if it's in your practice, or nice supine twist. So I'm just demonstrating a series of postures here that you can choose from, a few tools to help you cool the body down, completely still the mind. Giving you the opportunity for a Shavasana in which you can steep in your own true essence. If you'd like a back bend, there's always little bridge pose or Veerabhadrasana. And try to counter pose any poses that you do. So if you go into cloud pose or shoulder stand, do fish pose to end. If you take Shavasana, you can do child pose. If you do Veerabhadrasana or a little bridge like I just did, let's take a moment on your back, maybe feet wide, inner knees touch to let the back settle and relax. And when you're ready to take your Shavasana, set yourself up in a place that feels like you're floating on the stillness of that water, that your mind is completely at ease, that your breath is in tune with the stillness of the mind. And that's where you see your own true self. Tadā, draṣṭuḥ, svarūpe'vasthānam. I'll close the practice today with one sound of Om. Feel free to say it with me, chant it with me, or feel the vibration. May your thoughts be clear, may your words be clear, and may your actions be clear, all a reflection of your true self. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day.